Welcome, dear travel friends and the world's beauty. Today, we embark on a romantic journey to the heart of the Belgian coast, to the charming seaside town of Ostend. This exquisite city, like a precious pearl, shines on the shores of the North Sea, inviting you to immerse yourself in its atmosphere of elegance and freedom. Ostend captivates with its vast sandy beaches, where you can spend hours gazing at the endless expanses of the sea while the fresh salty breeze invigorates your soul, filling it with a sense of freedom and tranquility.
This city, with its rich history and culture, where the architecture of past centuries harmoniously blends with modern life, enchants everyone who steps onto its cobbled streets. Here, amidst magnificent buildings and cozy cafes, you can feel the spirit of the Belle Époque, the beautiful era, when Ostend was known as the king of the Belgian coast, and its elegant promenades served as meeting places for the aristocracy and a source of inspiration for artists and poets.
The Ostend railway station, which receives direct trains from the tourist cities of Brussels, Antwerp, Ghent, and Bruges, is the western terminus of the Belgian railway network. It is the most important station on the Belgian North Sea coast and one of the busiest in Belgium in terms of passenger traffic. In 1838, King Leopold I designed a direct railway connection between Brussels and Ostend, and in 1846 he approved the first regular ferry service to Dover, England, across the English Channel. This made Ostend an international transport hub as early as the 19th century, where railway routes connected with sea routes. The station's location on the North Sea coast dictates its architectural features. It was conceived as a crossroads for those traveling by land and sea. The first railway station in Ostend, built in 1838, was located on Ernest Faceplein, at the square where the Delhaize supermarket now stands, close to the modern railway station.
The current station building, designed by architects Otten and Frans Sullen, was constructed between 1907 and 1913 and is a true masterpiece of the Belle Époque style. Architects of that time aimed not only to create functional buildings but also to craft elegant structures that reflected the spirit of the era. Two massive protruding square buildings with pyramidal roofs define the station's distinctive facade. A glass dome, adorned with two small towers, spans the space between these two towers with a cast-iron arch, forming a waiting hall for travelers. Upon entering the station, the large stained glass windows and spacious halls make the space bright and welcoming. The architects deliberately designed the station so that travelers arriving here would immediately feel the proximity to the sea. This unique feature makes the Ostend station a true maritime calling card of the city. As the city expanded, so did the railway station, where thousands of passengers each day catch trains, trams, buses, ferries, or cruise ships.
In addition to the old historic building, architect Dietmar Feichtinger designed a new terminal in 2012, an open platform with a light, transparent, colored roof, as well as new convenient station facilities. The new Ostend station creates a dialogue that enriches the city's architectural landscape. The Royal Colonnade, Albert I Promenade, Kursaal Casino, Monument to the Missing Fisherman, and the bright, tall buildings with numerous glass and mirror elements all contribute to Ostend's unique atmosphere and image as a grand, open space filled with light, shifting colors, and constant movement. What makes this station particularly interesting is its connection to the sea. It offers a magnificent view of the water and port facilities. From the station, you can watch the locks in action, releasing pleasure boats into the sea.
At the station, you have the option to transfer to a bus or the coastal tram, KT. The tram platform is located next to the railway platforms. After exiting the train, head left to the farthest platform. The bus stop is in front of the station building. The coastal tram is a true legend of Belgium. Construction of the first line began back in 1885, and it has since been extended and modernized. For over a century, the tram has connected the entire Belgian coast, from the Netherlands to France. It is the longest tram route in the world, stretching 67 kilometers with 69 stops. This route, linking the resorts and towns of West Flanders, was officially entered into the Guinness World Records in 2014. The tram runs every 20 minutes, and during the summer tourist influx, the interval shortens to 10 minutes.
Since Ostend is primarily a seaside resort, and the sea is its main attraction, we begin our journey by heading to the coast. We board the tram heading towards De Pan and, after about 5 minutes, get off at the Ostend Belgium stop. Not far from here, near the former royal villa of Leopold II, the Thermal Palace, is one of the city's best beaches. After exiting the tram, we arrive at a spacious modern square with a hotel and parking area, which transitions into a wide, historic boulevard adorned with large antique vases and flowers. To the right is the Royal Park with a Japanese garden, which we will visit later.
To the left, in the distance, you can see the former royal villa of Leopold II, the Thermal Palace. A few years ago, there was a complex of swimming pools on the grassy meadow, but it was demolished as it no longer met modern standards. As a result, the area is currently in a somewhat neglected state. Preparations are underway for the construction of a new modern swimming complex, as well as for the restoration of the Thermal Palace.
The entrance to the beach is truly royal, through a majestic portal with rounded arches. And there it is, the North Sea. The fresh, healing sea air is incredibly easy to breathe, filled with the scent of salt and seaweed, accompanied by the sound of crashing waves and the cries of seagulls.
The first mentions of Ostend appear in chronicles from the 9th and 10th centuries. At that time, the northern regions of modern Belgium were inhabited by the descendants of Germanic tribes, primarily the Franks, who later formed the Flemish ethnic group. The modest settlement of fishermen and hunters, called Ostend, emerged on the eastern tip of the coastal island of Testerep, which was separated from the mainland by a bay, while the village of Ostend appeared on its western shore. Eventually, the island merged with the mainland. In the 16th century, Flanders and Ostend became part of the Habsburg Netherlands, which later turned into the Spanish Netherlands after the Habsburgs inherited the Spanish throne. This period was marked by tensions between the local population and the Spanish rulers, leading to a series of uprisings.
The primary cause of the conflict was the spread of Protestantism in the Netherlands, which clashed with the Catholic policies of the Spanish king, Philip II. During the 80 Years' War in the 16th and 17th centuries, Ostend became the site of one of the most brutal sieges, 1601 to 1604, when Protestant rebels defended the city for 3 years against Spanish forces. Ultimately, the city was captured by the Spanish, but the Protestant resistance strengthened regional identity and the desire for autonomy. In the 17th century, Ostend experienced its golden age. The city became a renowned commercial and financial hub, and was a key player in the East India Company, which led to the flourishing of trade and the city's wealth. After the War of the Spanish Succession in the early 18th century, Ostend came under the control of the Austrian Habsburgs. Austrian rule brought a relatively peaceful period, although Austria's economic and political influence in the region remained limited.
At the end of the 18th century, the region was occupied by France as a result of the French Revolutionary Wars. The French administration brought changes in governance and culture, including the introduction of the French language and legal norms. However, the Flemish identity remained dominant. Among the many attractions of Ostend, very few historical monuments have survived, as much was destroyed during numerous military conflicts. After Napoleon's defeat, Ostend, like the rest of Belgium, became part of the United Kingdom of the Netherlands in 1815. However, cultural and religious differences between the north, the Dutch, and the south, Flemish and Walloons, led to growing discontent among the population.
In 1830, after the Belgian Revolution, Ostend became part of the independent Belgian state. From this point on, the national identity of the residents strengthened as Belgian, while preserving their Flemish cultural heritage. The Belgian state was officially established on October 4, 1830, when the provisional government declared independence from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands, to which Belgium had been annexed after the fall of Napoleon in 1815 as a result of the decisions made at the Congress of Vienna, following the Declaration of Independence. Belgium was recognized in 1831 by the great powers of Europe, and on July 21 of the same year, Prince Leopold of Saxony-Coburg became the first king of Belgium, taking the title Leopold I. This day, July 21, is still celebrated as Belgium's National Day.
As a resort, Ostend gained fame during the reign of Belgium's first king, Leopold I, in the 19th century, when the coastline was highly appreciated by royalty and European aristocracy. During this period, Ostend became the most fashionable resort in Europe, competing with Deauville and Monaco. It was often referred to as the King of the Belgian coast due to the presence of the Belgian king's summer residence. King Leopold I had a country estate here, which helped establish the city's reputation. Leopold II continued his father's legacy, further solidifying Ostend's reputation as a fashionable destination among aristocrats. It was Leopold II who transformed Ostend, his favorite residence, into the king of Belgian seaside resorts. The city was modernized and renovated, becoming a luxurious retreat for the elite.
New significant architectural landmarks were constructed, such as the Church of Saints Peter and Paul, the Royal Galleries, the Kursaal Ostend Casino, the Wellington Hippodrome, and the City Theatre. By 1905, all of these projects were completed, and the following year was rightly called the Golden Year. At this time, Ostend was known not only as an international seaside resort but also as a center of the arts. Many leading performers entertained European aristocracy at the Kursaal. The magnificent Royal Gallery's Colonnade was completed in 1905. It stretches for about 400 meters and is designed to protect visitors from rain and sun during their seaside strolls. One of King Leopold II's numerous projects was the construction of a large thermal complex in the backdrop of this colonnade. In 1929, the plans of French architects Flegenheimer, Bard, and Garella, in collaboration with Ostend architect André Daniels, for the construction of the thermal palace were approved.
In 1933, the majestic Hotel Thermal Palace, designed in the Art Deco style, was officially opened by King Albert I and Queen Elizabeth. The hotel offered all the amenities needed for a luxury resort, including a Turkish bath, mud baths, and massage rooms. A swimming pool and various conference halls were also built. Thanks to the unique combination of mineral and seawater, this resort town became one of the most important spa destinations in Europe. Numerous distinguished guests enjoyed the healing effects of the thermal springs. The gallery connects the Royal Villa with the Wellington Hippodrome, enhancing the grandeur of this seaside retreat.
The thermal complex, heavily damaged during World War II, was reopened after the war as the Thermal Palace and Hotel. By the early 1980s, the activities of the Thermal Institute gradually ceased. In the 1990s, a partial renovation of this unique complex was carried out, as the new Thermal Palace contributed to the growing Congress tourism. The fully symmetrical structure of the building consists of 18 unique and luxurious halls for seminars, congresses, exhibitions, as well as receptions, parties, and events with up to 1,000 guests. The Thermal Palace Hotel and the adjoining Royal Galleries are among the last great architectural monuments in the region. Once an architectural masterpiece of the early 20th century, today it attracts not only admirers but also critics who lament its gradual decline. The modern history of the Thermal Palace is a chronicle of failures and unrealized city initiatives. The loss of such an architectural gem threatens to strip the city of its uniqueness and identity. The grandeur of the past has long faded. It has long been clear that the once prestigious Thermal Palace Hotel and the Royal Galleries need restoration. The Belgian seaside resort of Ostend is currently running a campaign to renovate the historic Thermal Palace Hotel. To restore the Art Deco palace to its former glory, €70 million will be required.
So, here near the picturesque covered colonnade close to the thermal palace, created by Leopold II, lies one of the most beautiful sections of the beach. King Leopold II reigned from 1865 to 1909 and is one of the most significant and respected figures in Belgian history. He implemented many major reforms, including the creation of a system of free, compulsory secular education in the country. He also laid the foundation for Belgium's social system, introduced child labor restrictions, and promoted the development of trade unions. Leopold II was actively involved in strengthening the country's defense, improving the Belgian army, and advancing military industries.
From the seaside, behind the portal, we can see the majestic equestrian monument of King Leopold II, created by Belgian sculptor Alfred Cortens in 1931. The monument, made of bronze, depicts Leopold II seated on a rearing horse, symbolizing his authority and energy.
The equestrian statue of King Leopold II has been the target of vandalism in 2004 and 2020. In 2004, a group of activists from De Stoet Oostendenaar symbolically cut off the bronze hand of one of the kneeling Congolese figures from the Gratitude of the Congolese group, referencing the brutal practice during Leopold's colonial regime when the hands of Congolese workers were severed if they did not meet rubber production quotas. The activists were willing to return the hand if a historically accurate plaque was installed near the statue. In June 2020, Ostend's Mayor Bart Tommelijn stated that the city council takes the fight against racism very seriously but that the statue will not be replaced or removed. Overall, the monument remains an important historical and cultural landmark in Ostend, though its symbolism and significance are being re-evaluated in light of the modern reassessment of Leopold II's role in history.
Walking past the equestrian statue of Leopold II, along the colonnade and beyond the thermal palace, we reach the Wellington Hippodrome. Named after the Duke of Wellington, the Hippodrome welcomes visitors throughout the summer, offering a venue for those who enjoy testing their luck or simply love horses. In recent years, the Hippodrome has increasingly been used to host major concerts. For fitness and sports enthusiasts, there is also a dedicated sports beach in the vicinity of the Hippodrome.
Umbra, a sculpture by Erland Seinheve, is located in Ostend by the beach, opposite the Hippodrome. This sculpture is a three-dimensional interpretation of the world-renowned painting Vertigo by Belgian symbolist artist Léon Spiliert. The painting depicts a steep tower with narrowing spiral staircases, and at the top, a woman appears with a headscarf and hair blowing wildly in the wind. It's a nightmare, she cannot escape the fall. Women played a significant role in Spiliert's work, and this tribute to the artist has found its ideal location here on the windy coastline. This sculpture is a truly unique monument. When viewed from the front, it becomes clear that it represents a woman with wild hair. However, her hair is actually a pyramid of cylinders, giving the sculpture a fascinating quality. Depending on the angle from which you view it, the figure can appear entirely different. It's a statue of many perspectives, constantly shifting its form as you look at it from different sides.
The stretch of the seafront from the Umbra sculpture to the Venetian galleries is known as King Baudouin's Promenade. Baudouin reigned as Belgium's king from 1951 to 1993, and he became one of the most politically active constitutional monarchs of the second half of the 20th century. The Venetian galleries are part of the Royal Galleries. In 1900, by order of King Leopold II, architect Henri Maquet designed this first royal gallery, which is now referred to as the Venetian Galleries, a nod to the classical architecture of Venice. When the royal family decided to no longer use their seaside residence, the city of Ostend was granted concession of the entire complex under the condition that it would be used for cultural purposes. The Venetian Galleries were renovated in 1999 and now serve as an exhibition space, hosting various art shows. Visitors are greeted by a statue of King Baudouin I, son of Leopold III, which stands as a tribute to the beloved Belgian monarch.
After the Venetian galleries begins the Albert I Promenade, named after King Albert I of Belgium, who became renowned for his decisive and heroic role during World War I and the post-war rebuilding of the country. Albert I became a symbol of Belgium's resistance against German aggression. When Germany invaded neutral Belgium in 1914, Albert refused to comply with Germany's demands to allow its troops to pass through the country. He personally led the Belgian army and directed the defense, holding the front lines throughout the grueling war despite being significantly outnumbered by German forces. After the war, Albert was recognized as one of the leading figures among European monarchs. His courage and commitment to defending his country earned him international respect. During his reign, the universal suffrage reform of 1919 was passed, which expanded voting rights and marked a step toward the democratization of Belgium. Albert's leadership and his role in the war made him a beloved figure, and his legacy as a hero of Belgian independence continues to be honored.
The promenade along the sea in Ostend is magnificent. It's spacious, with enough room for everyone, strollers, cyclists, and pets on leashes. When you stand on the beach in Ostend and gaze out at the sea, on a clear day, you can see the white wind turbines on the horizon. These turbines belong to the offshore wind farm located in the southern part of the North Sea on the Thornton Sandbank, about 30 kilometers from the coast of West Flanders, between Ostend and Zeebrugge. This natural power station is used for producing electricity. The United Kingdom is located approximately 160 to 200 kilometers in a straight line from Ostend, but it's too far to be visible to the naked eye from the coast.
The strong wind is no obstacle, and the waves don't get in the way. We walk on the edge of the world, and our souls find peace. The wide beach of Ostend stretches along the entire city for 9 kilometers, following the curves of the sea wall. You can rent a small beach hut to shelter from the strong wind or rain, as the weather here is very changeable. Numerous cafes and restaurants along the promenade offer a vast selection of dishes. The foundation of the local cuisine is the seafood, from the famous oysters to shrimp croquettes. In addition to seafood, local delicacies include chocolate and keet beer, a locally brewed beer. These delights make dining in Ostend a memorable experience for every visitor.
The attention of those strolling along the promenade is drawn to a picturesque, historic house that blends harmoniously with the modern buildings around it. This is Villa MARITZA, built in 1885. The facade of this eclectic mansion is a remarkable example of Belle Époque art, influenced by Neo-Renaissance and Baroque styles. The clock, shaped like a lighthouse, fits perfectly into the design of the seafront, enhancing its maritime character and making the villa a true architectural gem of Ostend.
The sculpture Dancing Waves by Patrick Steen wonderfully captures the fusion and dissolution of humans in nature. It evokes the movement of wind-driven waves, the swaying of tree branches, and the eternal dance of love between a man and a woman. This dynamic piece reflects the harmony between natural elements and human emotions, symbolizing the continuous flow and interaction of life, love, and the forces of nature.
A ride along the promenade on a multi-seat bicycle, which can be rented, is very popular among visitors. It's a fun and leisurely way to explore the seafront with family or friends, enjoying the fresh sea air and beautiful views as you pedal together. This activity adds to the relaxed, enjoyable atmosphere that makes Ostend a favorite seaside destination.
The Kursaal Ostend Casino, facing the sea on one side and a bustling street on the other, is the largest in Europe. It occupies a vast 1-hectare plot that opens onto the Albert I Promenade. This monumental building, constructed from white Portland stone in a modernist style, began in the 1950s on the site of a casino that was destroyed during World War II. Since then, its original appearance has undergone some changes, with the most recent renovations completed in 2004. The gaming area itself occupies only a part of the Kursaal Ostend. In addition to roulette and other games, the complex features a concert hall with a seating capacity of 2,000, boasting excellent acoustics, and several multifunctional rooms. One of these rooms is adorned with frescoes by Paul Delvaux, a prominent Belgian surrealist artist, adding an artistic touch to the venue.
The Kursaal in Ostend has long been renowned for its luxurious events and concerts, which attracted European aristocracy. Some of the most famous performers who graced its stage include Sarah Bernhardt, the legendary French actress, celebrated for her dramatic roles, Enrico Caruso, the renowned Italian tenor, who captivated audiences with his powerful voice, Igor Stravinsky, the distinguished composer, conductor, and pianist, whose works had a profound influence on 20th-century music. Many other notable figures also performed there, contributing to Kursaal's prestigious reputation as a center for arts and culture.
The cultural life of Ostend is vibrant and diverse, with numerous festivals and events held throughout the year. The annual Sand Sculpture Festival takes place during the summer months, showcasing incredible sculptures crafted from sand. The city also hosts various music festivals, such as Whoosh and the Beach Dance Festival, both of which take place in July. During these events, the city's beaches transform into lively dance floors. Another captivating event is the Theatre by the Sea Festival, TAZ, held in early August, which combines music and theatrical performances, attracting both locals and visitors. In February, Ostend celebrates the Ball of the Dead Rat, a carnival event originally conceived by the famous Belgian painter James Ensor and his artist friends. Despite the eerie name, it is a fun and colorful costume celebration that many residents participate in, lasting several days. These festivals reflect the rich and lively cultural atmosphere of Ostend, making the city a dynamic destination year-round.
Every year, Ostend hosts film festivals, adding to its dynamic cultural scene. Along the Promenade, there is a Walk of Fame, where visitors can see plaques with the names of famous actors who have visited the city. This adds a touch of cinematic glamour to Ostend, celebrating its connection to the world of film and honoring the notable figures who have left their mark on the city. The Walk of Fame is a popular spot for both locals and tourists to explore, offering a glimpse into the artistic legacy of Ostend.
We approached the square of maritime heroes and were surprised by the large red figures that suddenly appeared behind a curve of the embankment. The figures, Rock Strangers, are a famous installation by Belgian artist Arne Quins. These bright red sculptures are made from deformed angular metal blocks and were installed in 2012. The name Rock Strangers suggests that the sculptures are meant to introduce something strange and unusual into the familiar environment. The phrase Rock Strangers can be translated from English as Stone Wanderers. In a more metaphorical or philosophical context, Stone Wanderers could be an interesting and fitting translation. Are we not the wanderers with hearts of stone? Alien to this shore that has seen so much over the ages, so little empathetic to all its tragedies and sorrows? Wanderers, often unaware of the subconscious feelings and desires that have brought us here, idly wandering along this shore. The sculptures do not have a fixed interpretation, leaving room for personal associations and impressions. They may evoke a range of emotions and thoughts, from surprise and curiosity to confusion or discomfort. Stone Wanderers serve as an example of how public art can be used to encourage people to think, to see their surroundings in a new way, and to interact with the space in ways that go beyond the ordinary.
The main monumental sculpture in the square is the Monument to the Missing Fisherman. It is dedicated to all the sailors who went out to sea and never returned. The monument is a mini-stele, atop which stands a proud sailor gazing into the sea's distance, with two anchors lying beneath him. On the other side of the stele, there is also a sailor, but with completely opposite emotions. Sadness is clearly visible in his eyes. The monument was erected on the site of the first Ostend lighthouse, which dates back to the 18th century. The memorial was built in 1953.
Across the strait, you can see the white Lange Nelle lighthouse with wavy blue stripes, also known as Lange Nelle. It is the fourth lighthouse in the history of Ostend and the third at this location. The lighthouse rises 65 meters above sea level, has 324 steps, and has been safely guiding fishermen to the harbor since 1949. The lighthouse is closed to the public.
Walking along the promenade past the Square of Maritime Heroes and continuing along the bay, you can see the ferry terminal as well as the historic Belgian fishing trawler museum Amandine. On board, there is an exhibition dedicated to the history of Belgian fishing. Further on, we approach the train station once again. Across the road from the station begins the bay with yacht docks, filled with slender, snow-white boats. Against this backdrop, the imposing training sailing ship Mercator stands out.
The Mercator is a floating museum ship, named after the 16th century Flemish geographer and cartographer Gerardus Mercator. It is a restored former training sailing ship of the Belgian Navy, launched in 1932. The polar explorer Adrien de Gerlache designed this three-masted yacht, which was then built in Scotland. The Mercator had 2 commanders and made 41 voyages. In 1960, the Mercator arrived at the port of Antwerp and in 1961 was converted into a museum ship. Since 1964, it has been the crown jewel of Ostend.
After strolling along the promenade of the bay with its picturesque yachts and the Mercator, a few blocks later we arrive at the main architectural landmark of Ostend, the Church of Saints Peter and Paul. We immediately noticed the 2 sharp, skyward-pointing towers of this church as soon as we arrived at the train station.
The Church of Saints Peter and Paul is the main Catholic church in the Belgian city of Ostend. It was erected in 1905 based on the detailed plan of the Bruges city architect Louis de la Sensory, in the Gothic style modeled after Cologne Cathedral and the Neo-Gothic style of Vienna's votive church.
The church replaced the old Church of St. Peter, which was destroyed by fire on August 14, 1896. King Leopold II had grand plans for Ostend and wanted to demolish this parish church, but he faced resistance from the church administration. Some of the Bruges bourgeoisie spread a rumor that the king knew more about the fire. The fact is that after several months of investigation, the prosecution could not find anyone responsible. All that remains of this church is the so-called pepper pot, a tower located behind today's church.
The new church was built between 1899 and 1905 in the Neo-Gothic style, following the detailed plan of Bruges city architect Louis de la Sensory. Initially, he declined the commission due to lack of time, but under pressure from Leopold II, he accepted it anyway. The plans were extremely detailed, every stone, every decorative element was precisely drawn. De la Sensory designed the memorial church as a Gothic cathedral with perfect proportions. The monumental facade faces east to impress travelers entering Ostend. The facade has 3 entrances, symbolizing the Holy Trinity. The tympanum in the archivolt above the main entrance is adorned with pointed arches and intricate patterns. 3 statues by Antwerp sculptor Jean-Baptiste van Wint are included in this facade, from left to right, St. Peter, the Virgin Mary, and St. Paul. High above the portal is a rose window with stained glass in a mesh design and Gothic blind windows on both sides. The basilica's layout is in the shape of a Latin cross, with the central nave slightly higher than the two side aisles. The church is 70 meters long and 36 meters wide, and the towers are 72 meters high. The building is made from limestone from the Meuse region, a stone used for villa construction since Roman times. This stone is also ideal for fine sculpture. Brick, Belgian copper sulfate, and pink granite were also used in the construction.
In this main church of Ostend, one can admire the remarkable stained glass windows. The original stained glass was destroyed during the First and Second World Wars. The only original window remaining is in the mausoleum. All the current stained glass windows were created by glass artist Michael Martens. Inside the church, on the wall to the left of the altar, are stained glass windows depicting all the Belgian kings and Queen Louise Marie. Only King Albert II and King Philippe are still missing. There is a stained glass window of King Baudouin, showing the young king wearing glasses. Other stained glass windows depict scenes with the patron saints Peter and Paul, as well as the conquest of Ostend. The restored organ was reopened in the year 2000. Today, it has 43 registers on 3 manuals and a pedal board.
Behind the church, as its continuation, is a neo-Gothic chapel with the mausoleum of Louise Marie, the first Queen of Belgium. She died in Ostend in 1850 at the age of 38. According to her wishes, the funeral service was held at the Church of Notre-Dame de Laeken in Brussels. The Queen's remains were placed in the crypt of this church, which later became the royal family's burial site. Her son, King Leopold II of Belgium, had special memories of Ostend, where he spent part of his youth and where his mother passed away. 55 years after her death, he erected a chapel in the form of a mausoleum adjacent to the new Church of Saints Peter and Paul in her honor. The chapel is connected to the church's choir by a gallery and a flat arched passage. The monumental tomb, made of white Carrara marble, is the work of sculptor Charles Auguste Freken. It is a typical example of Romantic sculpture. Initially, the tomb was located in the crypt of the old Church of St. Peter, opened in 1859, and later moved to the new Church of Saints Peter and Paul. The exterior of the chapel is decorated with Gothic elements. The church also houses a small museum of antique items.
To the left of the church stands a monument to the defenders of the city during the First and Second World Wars, along with a relief featuring the profiles of King Albert I and Queen Elizabeth. Both monarchs symbolize the unity and resilience of the Belgian people in the face of adversity during the First World War.
The Tower of St. Peter, colloquially known as the Pepper Pot, in the Belgian city of Ostend, is all that remains of the old Church of St. Peter, destroyed by fire in 1896. The heavy square stone base of the tower dates back to 1478, while the octagonal upper structure was added in 1729. Today, the tower is simply an architectural monument. Its main feature is the clock, made in the 15th century. At the base of the tower is a small niche altar. You can enter the tower, but there's nothing to see inside except wooden floors.
The Kursaal in Ostend is one of the most impressive buildings in this seaside city. It was built in 1953 according to the design of Antwerp architect Leon Steinen and is considered a typical example of modernism. In front of the casino's facade facing the city, there is a decorative water basin, at the end of which stands the sculpture, Mother, by contemporary sculptor Femi Otten. You can feel the tenderness and love the sculptor put into her work. Unlike a classical statue, it does not stand on a pedestal. The woman touches the water's surface with her hand, making the water resemble a liquid foundation. The woman is in a very uncomfortable position, with a block on her leg and a pile of body parts at her feet. Yet, it seems she balances it all. The figure of the mother possesses the primal strength of giving life while also being vulnerable and somewhat defenseless.
De Groot Post, the Great Post Office, is the cultural center of the city. The building was constructed in the late 1940s and early 1950s, designed by Ghent architect Gaston Iselink. In December 2012, the former post office was officially reopened as a new cultural landmark of Ostend. On the facade of the building is a monumental copper sculpture by Flemish artist Joseph Cantor. It is titled Means of Communication or the Unity of the World through Telephony, Telegraphy, and Correspondence. The artwork depicts a nude goddess surrounded by 4 female figures, representing various ethnic groups of humanity.
Leopold Park is a delightful, intimate English garden, adorned with flower beds, lawns, benches, and fountains. These benches offer not only a place to rest but also a unique opportunity to exercise while you sit.
The park's crowning jewel is a magnificent floral clock, adorned with oversized gilded hands. Composed of nearly 20,000 plants, this unique timepiece offers a breathtaking array of colors. Throughout the summer, the date is meticulously updated daily.
Ostend's iconic nude, the sea, is a masterpiece by sculptor George Grar. With her voluptuous, rounded forms, she embodies the grandeur and sensuality of the ocean. Also known as the reclining nude, she is affectionately called Fat Matilda by locals. This stunning work of art graced the Kursaal until 1963.
Ostend streets are a shopper's paradise, teeming with delightful cafes and restaurants. Each eatery offers a unique ambience, inviting visitors to savor delicious cuisine and unwind in a romantic setting. The city's modern architecture gracefully intertwines with historic elements, whispering tales of a bygone era.
Step back in time at the Spanish House, nestled within Ostend's oldest building. Predating the Spanish occupation of 1601 to 1604, this historic gem was meticulously restored in 1729, as its facade proudly proclaims. An invitation to a unique experience awaits with the organ music in the oldest house of Ostend poster, promising a journey through time as you listen to the enchanting sounds of an organ in this historic setting.
Adorning Marie-Josplein is a marble bust of Ostend's native son, Auguste-Marie-François Bernart, a distinguished lawyer and statesman. His name is elegantly engraved on the pedestal, accompanied by embossed coats of arms. A delicate, partially gilded fence, topped with intertwined initials, gracefully separates the monument from the street.
A stone's throw from the waterfront and the equestrian statue of Leopold II lies the small royal park. While the park itself shows signs of neglect, its Japanese garden is a tranquil oasis. With its serene pond, cascading waterfall, and exotic flora, it offers a peaceful escape. In summer 2024, artist Jacques Reyes guided visitors through a Zen walk amidst sculptural portraits adorned with masks, inspired by James Ensor. These Vander masks invite contemplation, each revealing a duality of concealment and revelation. The vibrant, yet fragile, masks capture the fleeting beauty of life. Together with the serene garden, these artworks create a truly unforgettable experience.
Can you enjoy a beach vacation in Belgium on the North Sea? Absolutely. While Belgium may not be the first destination that comes to mind for sunseekers, its coastal resorts offer a unique European charm without the crowds. While the North Sea may not match the warmth of the Mediterranean, its refreshing waters are perfect for swimming from mid-June to late August. With average temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, you can enjoy the sun without the scorching heat. The beaches are free, well-maintained, and clean, making them ideal for a relaxing getaway.
A Belgian summer vacation offers more than just sun and sand. Discover numerous attractions and enjoy a high level of service. Whether it's a breezy day or a rainy afternoon, you'll find hotels and villas filled with families, couples, and friends, all seeking a romantic escape. Immerse yourself in the charm of Belgium and create unforgettable memories. Let this beautiful corner of Flanders inspire you and fill your heart with joy.